What's going on, everybody? It's JetsCentral coming back with episode 2 of my NFL draft preview series, where we're going to be taking a look at different draft prospects, right? Guys that are really rumored to go in the top 10, guys that the New York Jets could/should be focused on come late April. Okay, and really the goal of the series is to dive deep, talk about each individual prospect's strengths, their weaknesses, giving you guys my realistic team fit based off of schematics and draft position, as well as giving you guys a personal pro comparison, right? After gathering the information and data at hand, after watching the tape, giving you guys a my personal, or giving you guys an NFL pro, a current NFL pro that I feel like has an extremely similar skill set to each individual prospect. Okay, so without further ado, let's hop right in. This is episode 2, and we're going to be talking about an outside linebacker from Kentucky, not the quarterback from the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. Okay, coming in at 6'5", 260 pounds, 260 to 265, somewhere in that range. Josh Allen is an extremely intriguing prospect, to say the least. Right now, he's being rumored to go top 5, top 10 at the very worst. Of course, barring any like Laramie Tunsil incident or anything crazy like that. At worst, Josh Allen is going to be a top 10 pick. Now, let's talk about some of his strengths first. Strength number 1, it's obvious, sack production, right? It just jumps right off the stat sheet at you. Okay, 17 sacks inside the SEC is crazy production. If you are a guy that likes production over potential, Josh Allen is your guy, okay? And Josh Allen's actually, it's kind of, ironic that I say that because Allen still does have a high ceiling, but we'll get into it. But if you're a guy that likes to see production, right, likes to see numbers on a stat sheet, likes to see a lot of just overall production from a position in college, then Josh Allen's your guy, right? You're probably drooling over Josh Allen's numbers and tape, overall stats, okay, what he could possibly do at the next level. Because Josh Allen, inside the SEC, the best conference in college football, especially inside the trenches, Josh Allen dominated. Okay, 17 sacks. That's not something that you could just scoff at and throw out the window. Okay, this guy got better each and every year inside the SEC, and he played for Kentucky too. Not hating on Kentucky by any means, but this isn't. It's not like he's playing for Alabama or Auburn, a team that constantly is getting 5 and 4 stars, just being, it's not like a turnstile of 5 and 4 stars just constantly. So it's not like he had a ton, crazy amounts of talent on the defensive side of the football, right? Offensive coordinators had to game plan for this guy, but yet he still had 17 sacks last year. That's an astronomically high number. Okay, 17 sacks in the SEC, crazy production. So strength number 2, this is actually a rare trait in today's game where you see a lot of, 3x1 sets, like 11 personnel. Teams are throwing it constantly. Saints, Rams, Patriots, Eagles, Chiefs, Chargers, all these teams are just throwing the ball constantly. You kind of see the trend amongst the NFL defenses where they're trying to pick players, really linebackers that can do a lot of things, that could cover tight ends, cover guys in the flat, cover running backs, covering guys in the slot, really holding down that zone. And you can kind of see it too. Guys like Deion Jones. Hell, the New York Jets picked one out of Ohio State, mid to late first round a few years back, Darren Lee. And a lot of those linebackers, they're coming in at a smaller frame, right? They're a little light, 220, 230 pounds. That's not the case with Josh Allen. This guy can drop back and cover, and he's 6'5", 260, okay? So he could cover at an extremely high level. He could hold down that zone really well. Underrated part of his game. Nobody's really bringing that up. Everybody is, talking about the sacks, and rightfully so. The sacks are a crazy number, but it's not like Josh Allen is just some one-trick pony that can only just pin his ears back and go. He could drop back in coverage, all right? Now, he does struggle against tight ends here and there, but, I mean, if you ask Josh Allen to drop back in a 3-4 system, he can do it, okay? He can do it. That's one of the things I really like about Josh Allen, and I guess I'm saying that from a biased point of view because the New York Jets haven't really had an amazing coverage linebacker in quite some time, especially at that outside position. So Josh Allen, sack production, and he could cover a ton, right? Drop back, cover in zone. That is an amazing fit for today's game, okay? Because he is explosive. He does have the speed to play at the next level, and he obviously has the size, and he can drop back in coverage, right, so he could fit in different schemes. That's amazing, okay? So really strength number 3 is that he has a huge ceiling, okay? And it's ironic because usually when you see guys with crazy amounts of stats, like his sack numbers, normally those guys kind of hang out in college for like a longer period of time. They're kind of stronger than the competition. They're older than the competition. They're smarter than the competition. really NFL guys, and you see this, all across sports too, NBA, like they like to pick the one and done freshmen over the seniors. Like the pro guys, the pro scouts, the pro GMs, they kind of think there's this consensus belief that players that have a ton of production at the college level, really outside of like quarterbacks and whatnot, but guys that have a ton of production have kind of maxed out, right? They've gotten as good as they could possibly be, or close to it. With Josh Allen, that's not the case. You're looking at Josh Allen with, he has crazy amounts of numbers, but this guy can still add a ton of strength. This guy can still learn more pass rushing moves. So Josh Allen still has a ton, a huge ceiling to get better, similar to a Khalil Mack coming out of Buffalo, a guy that dominated Buffalo, but he still had so much room to get better, right? As the years went on, Khalil Mack got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. All right. So Josh Allen, huge ceiling. All right. And it's ironic too, because really it's kind of like a yin and yang with Josh Allen and another prospect, Rashawn Gary. With Rashawn Gary, you're kind of betting on his potential, right? #1 player in high school, comes to Michigan, flashes like a Jadeveon Clowney type, but he doesn't have the production. Only had 3.5 sacks last year. But with Josh Allen, you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get the production. You get a guy walking into your locker room saying, yeah, I dominated the SEC with 17 sacks, and I can still get a little bit better, okay? Or a lot better, actually. So you're getting really the whole package with Josh Allen here. And then strength number 4, and this is, I feel like, another thing that kind of goes unnoticed as well. He loves football, high-character individual, and he is a great locker room leader. The New York Jets really specifically want those high-character individuals, guys that aren't going to, throw teammates under the bus. That was one of the reoccurring issues that we had under Rex Ryan and Todd Bowles, guys like Brandon Marshall. We've seen guys like Muhammad Wilkerson kind of give up on plays. Guys like Sheldon Richardson, have scenarios with the media where they're talking about other players. Geno Smith obviously getting punched, right? So the New York Jets want high character individuals. Josh Allen checks those boxes. They want leaders. Josh Allen's a leader. They want guys like Jamal Adams, right? Dogs, as Jamal Adams coined it. They want guys to come into this locker room, really change the culture, be great in the community, lead men, really give it their all, play at 110%. And that's what Josh Allen is, okay? So with that being said, the strengths covered, let's talk about some of the weaknesses, okay? Some of the weaknesses. So weakness number 1, negative number 1, he needs to get a little bit stronger, okay? There are games out there where you could see him kind of getting bullied by tackles. He kind of gets a little lost in space at some points in time. If he could pack on, a few pounds of muscle, that would be tremendous. If he spends this offseason, right, lifting heavy, right, low reps, a lot of weight, really focusing on building strength as opposed to like training for like endurance or, all that other stuff. Really low reps, high strength, focusing on building strength, building muscle. This guy can get a lot better. All of a sudden, you could see a guy that's, faster around the edge, explosive off the edge, into a guy that can just bull rush through tackles. If he can add the size, again, look at a guy like Khalil Mack, a guy who has the strength, the speed and explosiveness, but he also has the strength to back it up. I mean, when you watch Khalil Mack, you get the traditional just like bend, getting to the point and then bending around the tackles. You get all that good stuff, but you also get those plays where he's just slamming tackles, and the tackles are just stumbling backwards. If Josh Allen could put on strength, put on muscle, he will be a completely different animal. Okay, so really focusing on building strength. I guess it's not really a weakness, but just coming in as of today, Josh Allen, he needs to get a little bit stronger if he wants to be a consistent pass rusher. Because the speed thing, I mean, how many times have we seen these speed guys off the edge not really pan out in the league? Because that's really all they got. And these tackles are coached better. They're stronger. They're more athletic. They're faster, where they could kind of negate that. So once NFL tackles kind of catch on you, and once you enter an NFL team, I mean, the NFL is a different animal than collegiate football. That's just what it is. All right, so really weakness number 3 is tackles with long arms. I've noticed he kind of gets lost. Right? When he's going up against like long-armed tackles, he has a hard time kind of bending the edge, getting around and making that impact, right? Strength probably plays into that, but really focusing, you know, when he went up against like Jawan Taylor, another guy that's being rumored to go in the top 10, a guy that could potentially be a New York Jet. He struggled, okay? He struggled. When he went up against big-bodied offensive linemen with huge arms, he got lost in space. So that is something that you have to take into consideration when, you know, when drafting a guy like Allen. Is this, you know, can he go up against really huge left tackles, really huge right tackles at the next level? Weakness number 3, a lot of his sacks, and this is kind of interesting. A lot of his sacks came in the fourth quarter. Okay, that tells me that possibly, it's not a fact, it could be a coincidence, but it tells me, is Josh Allen just playing at 110% where, you know, well, obviously he's not giving up and this and that, and he's just playing with a relentless motor, but once the tackles start to get a little bit tired, right, once the offensive linemen's play start to go down, once they start to diminish due to fatigue, due to stamina, now, all of a sudden, Josh Allen's starting to get those sacks. I mean, yes, you could label it as he's a closer, right? He does great in crunch time, right? He's sealing the game for his teams. Yes, you could label it that way, but you could also make the argument, is this guy only shining when his level of competition is going down? That's something to take into consideration because, like I said before, the NFL is no joke. The tackles, the guards, the offensive line in general, yes, they're big dudes, and I know, you know, everybody calls them, oh, the fat guys, right? The fat guys. These guys are elite athletes, all right? Elite athletes. So you really don't want Josh Allen to be swallowed up each and every game just due to, you know, due to the fact that he can't compete with the bigger offensive linemen. All right, so that's really some of my weaknesses that I found with Josh Allen's game after really diving in. And let's kind of transition to best team fits. All right, so best team fits, like I said before, he's going to go top 5. He's going to go top 10, somewhere in that range. Top 10 at the very worst. So really, if you're a team that needs a pass rusher that runs a 3-4 system, I think Josh Allen would be a slam dunk. So I'm looking at teams like the New York Jets. I would look at teams like the Oakland Raiders. I would look at a team like the New York Giants. Okay, possibly Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though I don't think outside linebacker is a huge position of need, but I think he'd be a nice chess piece for Todd Bowles, obviously watching a lot of his system. He would be really good for that Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense. You know, definitely a defense that has to get better all across the board. But in any case, really, New York Jets, New York Giants, Oakland Raiders. Those are the 3 teams that I feel like being perfect fits for the New York Jets. Obviously, low outside linebacker depth. Don't really have a pass rusher on the team. With the Oakland Raiders, pairing a guy next to Arden Key on the outside, just being that versatile player for Paul Guenther, trying to help change that Oakland Raider culture, could be a great fit. And then with the New York Giants, they need more sack production, and they traded away Olivier Vernon in the offseason, so you kind of have to fill that void some way, somehow. So really, those are my realistic, my 3 realistic team fits for him, and my personal pro comparison for Josh Allen. I've seen a lot of people compare him to, you know, Anthony Barr. I've seen people compare him to like a Leonard Floyd, right? Those are the 2 big guys that everybody's saying, oh, he's the next Leonard Floyd. He's like a rich man's Leonard Floyd, or he's Anthony Barr. I actually don't see those 2. I personally see Chandler Jones of the Arizona Cardinals, even back with the New England Patriots. Okay, Chandler Jones. They have similar body structures. Now, Chandler Jones does have longer arms, which does help Jones in the pass rushing game. But both, they were kind of similar, kind of, you know, coming out of college, just as far as body type, body composition, size, and weight goes, height as well. Chandler Jones, to me, I think it is a perfect fit for Josh Allen. That's who I see when I'm watching the Kentucky tape. That's who I see. Chandler Jones in that 3-4 athletic position coming off the edge. A guy who has a potential or has a production of speeding by tackles and getting to the passer. A guy that's really good and, you know, at forcing strip sacks, targeting the football, not just the quarterback, but the football as well. You know, creating havoc, creating those turnovers on the defense side of the football, but also a guy that can get better as time progresses, right? I remember Chandler Jones' rookie season, you know, yes, he was a first-round pick, but he didn't take the league by storm. He didn't have the 15 sacks or anything crazy. He wasn't like a Bradley Chubb. He kind of came in a little quiet. I think he had like 5 or 6 sacks, somewhere in that range. And then the next season, right, his sophomore season, he just came on the scene like a lightning bolt and just dominated the league, all right, jumping up to double-digit sacks. So Josh Allen's a guy who I think first year, as he's kind of transitioning, going up against better talent, kind of he hasn't really filled out yet, right? He's just still a young kid. Let's just call it like we see. He's still a young kid. First year, I could see him kind of having those 7 sacks. 7, 8 sacks. But then year 2, year 3, year 4, when he starts to put on size, when the game starts to slow down for him, that's when Josh Allen could start racking up 14, 15, 16 sack seasons. Okay, so really Chandler Jones is my NFL pro comparison, my personal pro comparison. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section regarding Josh Allen. Would you like it if the Jets picked him? Would you hate it if the Jets picked him? Really, there's really 3 guys that the Jets are being linked to: Nick Bosa, Josh Allen, Quinnen Williams at that third overall spot. So we're going to be going through all these different guys and also kind of throwing in, different situations that the Jets were to trade back. Guys like Rashawn Gary, Jawan Taylor, other guys as well. So we're going to have some fun with it. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section regarding Josh Allen. And thanks so much for watching. And as always, go Jets.